Alright, welcome back to our final and last code analysis session. So essentially this is the last character. This is the only code analysis character I will have to do left, and that's pretty much everything because I went over the HUD, I went over the Viking, I went over the other enemy AI, and this is the last one. So the health system is exactly the same as last time with the robot enemy AI, so the bad robot. So basically I set all these as integers. You set the health. You have to get the health as well, so that it understands that the set health will be fully at 100. If the health is equal to or goes underneath 0, basically a branch will happen, and if his health is under 0, it is 0, it destroys the actor. And then if it's not true and he still has more than 0 health, then it's going to print a string of the robot's health. Turret shoot, so basically it's a custom event. I named it turret shoot. Do once it's completed, once it recognizes the character and where it is, it's going to spawn a BP bullet. I'll show the coding for that. So basically it spawns a projectile. It's going to get the world transformed for where the enemy currently is, and basically it's going to spawn the bullet where the collision arrow starts, and basically it shoots in that direction. There is a delay of 6 seconds due to the fact that this is a heavy damage weapon projectile, and therefore we don't want it to constantly be in spam, so that we give an advantage to the players. Turret turn transform. Now this is probably the most difficult part out of all of the system. It's not really, this game is really simplistic in terms of how it's been made, but it just looks complicated, but it really isn't. So we start with event tick. So when it starts, this is when it starts. So we then add a sequence. So 0. We're going to set a distance because we have a distance. And basically the branch is if it recognizes where the character is, the turret is going to shoot. So basically 1 is set actor rotation, because similar to the other robot, it needs to rotate around and follow the character all around. And basically when I do the video of the final capture, I'm going to talk over it and basically represent when each part is being used for the rotation. It's going to look at the rotation. So then you need to get, set actor rotation. You need to have a new rotation of find look at rotation, get actor location, so basically where the actor is, get actor location, and we need it to look for the player character. It can't automatically do this, so therefore you need to create a new rotation values for when the character gets anywhere near enough for the robot that it can actually turn around and rotate. So it's similar to that. It looks thin, but then it kind of expands out. So the distance, if the subtraction, basically you have to get the return Z value and all that, because since we're on the Z axis, it needs to flip around on those axes. It gets the paper sprite due to the fact that you need something for it to rotate, and since I only included it to be a paper sprite, I did make animations for the actor at first, but then when I realized I could fully code it and move it in Unreal, it then turned out to be a waste of time. But I'm still glad I did it, because I can use it as a rough concept to show what I was thinking of doing in the first place, but I'll show that in a different blog. And basically, same thing with this part. If the character is in range of the Viking, so basically if the Viking gets anywhere near the enemy AI, it's going to shoot its turret. So it's pretty much the same as the previous thing, except the only difference is that instead of it rotating fully, it just rotates around and over, kind of thing. So like a rotating turret that follows you in a sense of way, and it rotates 360 degrees based on where it is, or it flips 180 degrees. And then there's just the damage thing. So basically, when it shoots, if the capsule... no, wait, this is not when it shoots. This is if the character steps on the robot. So basically I made it so that if the character steps on the robot or collides with its collision box, it's going to cast damage to the character because he touched the robot AI. So basically it takes off 0.3 damage every time the Viking hits the enemy. I just made it because I wanted to make the game a bit difficult. Nothing too special, but yeah. The bullet is exactly the same as previously. If the bullet is a cannon, because our thing was originally a cannon turret thing, so I think it looks cool. It still works. Basically, on component, overlap of the cannon. If the cannon hits the Viking, it's going to take off 0.5 damage from the health system of our Viking. And basically, when the cannon sprite hits the Viking, the main character, it's going to destroy the actor. So that, as I said, it uses up less frame rate and all that. Pretty much that's it. It's exactly the same as the previous robot, where as in it rotates, it turns around, the health system is exactly the same, they're integers, and all that. And then with this, it's exactly the same as the Robo Bullet, where if it collides with the character, it's going to take 0.5 damage off of the character, and then just to destroy the actor to save frame rate and all that. And overall, nothing's really changed. The only thing I can say is probably different is the projectile movement, because I changed that to 1,000 to 1,000 so that it travels at a faster velocity. But overall, that's pretty much it. So that's it. That's all the coding, and I've talked about pretty much what each piece of coding does. And even though it looks difficult, when explaining it, you're kind of thinking, oh, that sounds really easy. That sounds simplistic. And like, yeah, that's the whole point. I want to show you the code, and I want to show you what it does, but I don't necessarily talk about it in depth and basically say, first of all, you need this and then this. I just want to give an example of what it does. So the next thing I will be doing is the final video capture of the level, and then basically going over, talking over of what the level is and what each part does. So thank you very much for listening and watching, and yeah, that's it. So until the next time.